What is up, peeps? Welcome back to this new tutorial. So now we're going to continue our work on building the assets for our interior scene. So we're going to be working on the table. So basically going to learn some awesome modeling tips and tricks that allows you to model assets in a realistic way. Alright, so let's get to work. So first I'd like to reduce, I don't think that this table width is accurate. So let me just grab everything from here. Also let me split my scene, this plus icon, so that we can keep an eye on the wireframe over here. But also, as you can see, I lost my reference. So what we need to do is to simply select, if you lost it as well, so simply select the camera and let's go over here to the camera settings and enter the background images. So click on it like this and let's recreate, or let's direct this F-spy. I think it's on the back. So this image, double click and basically you got it back. Alright, so let's carry on. So first, as I said, I'd like to reduce the width of this table. Let me check. Yeah, so L to select that unit, scale Z, take it way down to something like this. Pretty much good. Alright, so the next step that I'd like to do is to add the bevel modifier to the sides. So you can see the corners over here are not pretty much sharp, so they reflect some kind of a lighting. So that's why I would like to add that bevel modifier to it. So on the modifiers, add modifier, it's gonna be the bevel, like this. But also you need to make sure that the scale over here is well aligned, because sometimes if the scale is not all equal to 1, you might have some problems with the scale. So Control A and apply that scale. So let's just reduce this amount to something like 0.1, just 1/10 of it, something like this. Also we can increase those segments to, for example, 3. Right click, sheet smooth. Now it starts to look like our reference, which is good. Also, what I'd like to do is to add some curvedness on this side. I don't want to keep it sharp. Check this out. On the top view, if we switch to the wireframe, you can see it's pretty much sharp. So let's add, for example, add 2 edge loops over here, right, like that. We can select these, but also we need to do the same thing on the back. So Control Space to maximize the window, but also let me enable my screen cascade. I apologize for forgetting about that. So Control Space like this, and let's grab both of these. Scale X, let's bring them out just a tiny bit, just a tad like that. But also we have a problem. Let me go back. Let me go inside so that you can see the problem. Yes, basically I don't want to bevel this one. I'd like to have some kind of a smooth curve over here. So this is how we can do it. So Control Space, let me get back. First we need to change the method, the limit method to the angle, like this. So now we have only one bevel over here. You can see that on the wireframe, only one edge instead of 3. Check this out. Let's get back. Yeah, and from here all we have to do is to add another subdivision modifier, like this. Let me check. So now we're going to be having some smooth curvedness. Let's check. Yeah, perfect. You can see that. Looking pretty much good. Alright, so let's add the other stuff. So what do we have? We have on the mirror, we have some kind of in the middle of our table we have this kind of a mirror. So let's add that. So we can, for example, insert a double edge loop like this. Control R, double edge loop, scroll the mouse, and we can grab all these faces, the first one and the last one, using the Control key, and we can do the following: E and go down like that. But as you can see, we might have some problems. Alright, also for this part over here, let me just delete it. Delete the top part, I believe. Scale Z, bring it down. Turn on the snap tool, this one, make sure that it's on the vertex. Let's snap it to the top like that. And let's see. Yes, I think it looks better, but we have this problem. This problem is pretty much annoying. So let me check how we can fix that. So let's remove the subdivision. So without the subdivision it looks good. Yeah, but we're gonna be losing our that nice curvy shape. So we're gonna be figuring out another way to do so. For example, what about this? Let me just try to do this manually. So Shift Control Alt Shift, so that you can select both of these. Control B, can bevel it like this, and we can insert, for example, 3 edge loop, or even 4. Yeah, let me check from the top if it's smooth. Yeah, it looks smooth, but not perfect, but I think we're gonna roll with it. All right, so let's carry on. So now let's work on the mics and also these papers. So let's get to work. So first put the cursor, for example, on this table. We already have that, so let's just Shift S, cursor to select it, Shift A, and let's start with a plane. Let's start with the paper first. As you can see, the A4 type of papers are something like this. Yeah, so the height of it are bigger than the width, so that's fine. Also, we can give it some depth. So for example, there is a lot of ways we can add the solidify modifier, this one over here, to give it that depth. Also, for example, we can do it on the other side. I see. Yeah. Also, you can just extrude it, not a big issue. All right, so let's work on the mic. So for the mic, let me just also Shift A, mesh, cube, scale it way down, something like that. Also, let me remove that snap tool. Okay, we can scale it on the Z-axis, bring to the top, Shift Tab, and let's snap it right on the table. Yeah, I think we got it. Okay, so now let's make it look like this shape. So first, let's take this edge all the way down, just like this, maybe a little bit forward. Nice. Okay, but also I believe we have some kind of a screen over here, so that they can be able to see informations or something like that. So for that, we can do the following. We can hit E, Z, like this. Maybe scale it on the x-axis a little bit to make it even, and we can go inside. So E and go inside like this. And probably, you know what? Let's just bring it back and grab the top edge and bring it down, so that we won't gonna have any clipping. Alright, so now let's add the bevel modifier to it. Alright, but as you can see, the scale is a mess. Let me check my scale. The scale is a mess over here. So check this out. If I hit Control A, we're going to be having a different scale. So Control A and apply the scale. You can see that now it looks pretty much good. Alright, so let's increase the segments to 3. Right click, shade smooth. Also, if you want to make the corners even more sharper, you can just reduce this amount. So I'm holding Shift so that you can slow down that movement. Something like this. Now it looks pretty much good. So basically this beveling helps with reflecting the light. So it's pretty much good in adding photorealism to your scene. Nice. Also, I think we have this kind. I believe we have a tip like this. Take it up, for example, like that. I can see that over here. Yeah, we can proceed with that. Fine. Alright, so now let's add the mic. So on the top of this object, I don't know what to call this one, the object, so Shift S, cursor to select it, and we can bring curve. You can also use a cylinder shape and keep trying to spin it, curve it like this, but it's gonna be even better to use just a curve. So Shift A, go to curve, and let's use a path. Alright, so let me hide this one using the N key, and let's switch, or let's spin our curve on the y-axis by 90 degrees. Like this. Okay, so let's scale it way down. Scale way down like this, move it up. Fine. Alright, so let's hit 3 on the numpad, just so that we can see. I think, yeah, that's the right way. So on the edit mode, I'm gonna grab the top face, not the top face. I'm used to work on objects, not curves. So we can do this one by one, but there is a quick hack to do it automatically, which is to activate this proportional editor. So activate it. I think, yeah, let's use first the smooth, just to see. So as you can see, once you move one, all the other ones are going to be following the first one. But as you can see, this is not the shape that we have. So let me just revert back. So I think we did. So I think the best way is to use the sharp. So let me enable this proportional editor and let's use the sharp. So on the edit mode, select the top one, and also we can increase we can increase that by scrolling the mouse like this. So I believe something like this will be just fine. Maybe we can reduce it a bit down. Fine. All right. So now let's give it some depth. As you can see, just one line. So over here on the settings, so all we have to do is to increase the, for example, let me find it, geometry, extrude, not the extrude, but the depth. Yeah, this one. So we can just increase it, and as you can see, we're giving it some depth. So for example, let's make it just 2. I think 2 is fine. Yeah. Alright, so now let's work on the top. So on the top over here we have this the root of our mic. So Shift S, cursor to select it, Shift A, but we need to exit this mode. So Shift A, let's bring a mesh cube, scale it way down like this, and maybe bring it forward a little bit. But as you can see, we're still using that proportion editor. So let me just deactivate it. Alright, so from here what we need to do is we can, for example, hit Ctrl 2 to add the subdivision modifier. Also you can add it from here, subdivision modifier. So I'm not using the 2 on the numpad. So basically the 2, you have that row of numbers on horizontally, not the numpad. Okay, so make sure to use that. And also on the edit mode, let's do this. So Ctrl R, and let's print, for example, this one like that, so that we can have that bullet shape. Also we can do the following: scale, Shift Y, and reduce it down. So we're scaling only on these 2 axes, the Z axis and the X axis. So something like this. Alright. Also we can do the following: we can RX, spin it, for example, by minus 30 degree, and let's take it up. Now it looks perfect. Also we need to smooth shade that, so right click and shade smooth. Okay, so let's add our final detail, which is this pen. So let's start with the cylinder shape, but first let me put the cursor right on the top of our paper. So Shift S, cursor to selected, Shift A, let's start with a cylinder shape. Also I would like to reduce its vertices so that we can be modifying it easy. So right click, not right click, by add a slash, and let's divide it by 2, for example, these vertices. Alright, so let's scale it way down like this, and also let's spin it RX 90 degree. Also let's scale it on the Y axis to something like this, and that's our starting point. Also let me check it up, and first what we need to do is on the edit mode we can start by inserting this edge loop. Also as you can see, the proportion editor is enabled, so deactivate it. Let's scale this one up like this to create this kind of a shape. Also over here let's reduce this one and select everything, scale, Shift Y to reduce that scale. Fine. And also we can do this, we can insert an edge loop like this, take it all the way to this side, and let's bring it right over there. I think this one is a little bit big, so let's reduce it down. Alright, so also over here let's Alt, select that entire row, scale it down, Shift D to duplicate this one, scale it a bit down, and let's go outside, and we can scale it again, and basically we got that tip, this tip. So the next, let's add again another edge loop like this, and we can, for example, make some stuff to it, but I'm thinking of ways. You know what, let's continue working on the top first, just so that we can have a pretty much good idea about it. So insert another edge loop like this, and another one, just like that, and let's select, for example, 3 faces, 1, 2, 3, hit E, go like this, go outside, another E, fine, and we can grab these 3 faces, hit E, and go like this. Fine, maybe we need to make it a little bit bigger, just like that. Okay, also on the top we're going to be doing the same thing. So let me grab this face, Shift D, scale it down like this, and hit E and go outside. Fine, I think our pen start to get in shape. Also we can make it curvy a little bit, but let's add first that bevel modifier. Control A, apply that scale. Also make sure that you are switching to the angle. Let me see. No, the angle is not. So let's keep it at none. But I don't like these edges. Yeah, these edges seems to be a little bit annoying. So what about increasing this one? So let's keep it back to angle and let's try to change that angle. Yeah, I think 30 degrees is fine. So shade smooth. Also over here, let me just delete this top face so that we can make it connected.